What a year it's been. The watch industry is back in full swing. The big Swiss fairs are live and in person, and the new releases just keep coming. I'm Thomas Hendricks of 2024 in New York City, and today we're going to break out the crystal ball as we look ahead to 2023. These videos are always a little tricky because watch brands are notoriously secretive and they often don't announce or even tease their upcoming releases until about a week before they hit the market. With smaller brands, you'll have a longer lead time to build excitement and anticipation and pre-orders, but it seems like the bigger brands all do a Beyonce album release strategy and just say, surprise, here you go. But we're gonna give it our best guess today and go brand by brand to see what might be over the horizon. Let's start at the top with Patek Philippe. The brand released a few heavy hitter complications in 2022, including the 5270P, a beautiful smoky green dial perpetual calendar chronograph, and the 1/10 of a second monopusher chronograph, the 5470P. There's also a rather unfortunate looking Desert Storm style Calatrava, but they also did my personal favorite world time flyback chronograph, the 5935A. There's also the new white gold Patek Philippe Nautilus 5811. I think we may see them cautiously expand the new Nautilus line in the new year. A white gold 5812 would work well, as would a white gold chronograph or a calendar in full white gold. Call it the 5826. Might also be cool to see an update to the Aquanaut collection. For example, a ceramic Aquanaut would be a surprise move for Patek, but it would fit the everyday ethos of the model and would look pretty killer in all black. Shall we move on to Audemars Piguet? We shall? Okay, let's do it. As usual with AP, you have the Royal Oak and then everything else. Since it was the 50th anniversary of the Royal Oak, the brand delved even deeper into the R&D department this year. We saw a few Royal Oak tourbillons hit the market. There's the full blue ceramic perpetual calendar. There are additional open work examples and more traditional 37 and 39 millimeter Royal Oaks. They're also the ones that people hated, like the music themed Offshore and the Taste the Rainbow lineup that you can't help but have an opinion on. Personally, I wish they made a full rainbow edition with every color wrapped around the same watch. As we look towards 2023, it's anyone's guess really. I mean, there will be more Royal Oaks, that part is a guarantee, but we're also seeing a few more surprises as of late. The new Star Wheel, for example, was one that was rumored for much of this year. It's the famed 1990s Star Wheel recreated inside the Code 1159 case. This is likely something that they will continue in 2023, taking inspiration from past APs and giving them a new life while also trying to build up the credibility of the 1159. I think there's a lot of meat on the bone if you look at the Jules Audemars collection. Hopefully they remaster it in its original dressy form, but perhaps it's more likely that they'll compromise a bit and try to retrofit it inside that 1159 case. Okay, let's hit Rolex before we're wrapping it up with Omega and Tudor. In 2022, we saw a handful of new releases from the world's most well-known watch brand. Some were standard, like the Platinum Day-Day with the fluted bezel, or the Precious Metal Yachtmasters. That Falcon's Eye dial is a sleeper hit, by the way. Some releases were also a little weird, which we like to see. I'm talking about the new Air King with the Love It or Hate It dial, the questionable Destro GMT known as the Sprite or the Riddler, and that big old biscuit-fed boy, the Rolex Deep Sea Challenger, coming in at 50 millimeters wide and 23 millimeters thick. That's thick with a THICC. Rolex is perhaps the most fun brand to predict because they care very little about what the watch world thinks and because they're so consistent in their incremental innovations that you have a greater chance of being right. Of course, incremental and predictable are not the same thing. So with that in mind, here are a few quick guesses at what 2023 might hold for the crown. First up, the Milgauss has been lagging on the secondary market and rumors have long been flying about its discontinuation. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it go and perhaps reappear in a new form in a few years' time. There's also a lot of potential with the Explorer line. We've already seen a two-tone Explorer 1, and that may serve as a stepping stone to a full gold Explorer 1. A lot of people would also be chuffed to see a white dial Polar Explorer like we have with the Explorer 2. 2022 was a big year for Tudor. The new 39mm Milgauss is perhaps the best received watch of the entire year, and they also expanded their Black Bay line with the 1655 inspired Black Bay Pro and the root beer inspired GMT. Guessing what they'll do in 2023 is no easy task. We may see a new BB58, but they've already done so many iterations of it. Perhaps they'll offer it in a wider range of diode colors like Rolex did with the Oyster Perpetual, or maybe they'll switch up the case material yet again. I can't be the only one who thinks a full ceramic BB58 or Milgauss case, bracelet, everything would be kind of cool. We'll end with the last letter of the Greek alphabet, Omega. 2022 saw the release of some high-priced Speedmasters in Moonshine and Canopus Gold. We got a colorful suite of new Aquaterras in 34 and 38mm. We also saw the brand dig into its archives a bit and reinvent some classics like the retro-futuristic Speedmaster X33 and the Sector Dial CK859. That you keep going with this theme and play to the enthusiast crowd. After all, wouldn't it be cool to see the Ranchero make a comeback after only 2 years of production in the 1950s? Or, now that chunky divers like Doxa have really found their groove, what about bringing back the Baby Pluprof? On the safer side, it might also be nice to see a blue or green dial Speedmaster in regular production. Small tweak like that feels kind of wrong, kind of right, but I bet it would sell. Finally, I wouldn't be surprised if Omega or another brand in the Swatch group tries to recreate the magic of the Moonswatch in the coming years. I mean, a 50 fathoms for a few $100? Sign me up. Okay, I've been talking a lot and throwing out a ton of wild guesses. Now it's your turn. If you've got ideas for what will happen or what should happen, drop them down below in the comments. I'm gonna read every single one of them. Maybe we can even make bingo cards for next year to see how many predictions we got right. All right, y'all, we made it. Another trip around the sun and another year of good watches, bad watches, and very bad watches. I'm Thomas Hendricks with Chrono 24. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next year.